G'day folks, welcome to the end of this for Blau campaign. As you can see here, Axis forces have finally captured the city hexes of Stalingrad. Their objective was the Volga objective, so they had to capture Stalingrad and exit a number of their units off from eastern entry areas, particular entry areas H or I, which are just off to the left, which they've done. If I can just pan around a bit, you can see they've cleared and held the Soviets off to the left there. I will tell you what, this fighting around Stalingrad became a real grind. It was really tough to push the Soviets out. You can see how some German units have crossed the Volga. The Volga River. They built a pontoon across the Volga and got across and really had to grind their way from there. It was not easy, and it took many turns. I mean, I think it took them about nine turns to push just gradually across these hexes, gradually whittling down Soviet forces in this area. And the Soviets had their pontoons and they could send their reinforcements across, and the Axis panzer divisions have really taken a beating in this final series of combats. They came here looking pretty strong, almost full strength, having survived the early fighting, and this just ground them down. And it was a case of, I mean, for many turns, they weren't gaining hexes. They were just eliminating Soviet forces, and the Soviets would build them back up, and then they'd eliminate them again. And you can see the Soviets look pretty weak. This is after taking kind of replacements, and you can see they've got a new wave of reinforcements coming on up on the top there. But, I mean, what you don't see in this image is the struggle that it was. I mean, they've still got some pocketed units which are managing to survive their attritional die rolls. This is the end of a very tough slog for the Axis, and they've only narrowly managed to do it. It's turn 22. All right, so this is you're probably thinking this is pretty quick. It's the start of September 1942, so yeah, very, very much ahead of schedule, principally because of the early rules errors that I made with the Axis forces, which benefited them and punished the Soviets. So not necessarily a fair outcome. Don't treat this as a typical outcome. It is the result of rules errors. But for me, it's just my sense of getting my head around the rules and playing through it and really loving the system. I'll have a review coming up soon. When I say they narrowly got it done, and it's turn 22, the reason I say that is because on turn 28, another Hitler gold chit will be drawn. So if the Germans couldn't complete that Volga goal by turn 28, I guess Hitler becomes frustrated and he gives them a new objective, and all this effort would have been for naught. So it was a rush to push and capture Stalingrad and get off get those mechanized units off those entry hexes. And like I said, they were throwing everything at it. A lot of heavy lot of step losses among the Axis forces, a lot more losses among the Soviets. There's nothing much happening elsewhere on the board. The Caucasus is quiet. Caucasus is quiet. The Voronezh front up north is quiet. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of units in the Soviet dead pile. I struggled to defend as the Soviets. I need to rethink my strategy. One of the wonderful things about this game is it is very replayable. So I think I'm going to set this up again on Vassal and play through it again and get it right. And I might do some live playthroughs of that on Vassal because it's just fascinating. It's a fascinating game. It's a light to moderate complexity game. It's a monster game that is really easy to play through. I'll talk more about that in the review coming up. I love this design. Well done, Greg Blanchett. It's fascinating. I would love to see more designs. I know there's Kharkov battles, but I think there's such a wonderful system. Just for me, the perfect balance of gameplay and abstraction in supply, in air. I want to see more of this. I want to see more of these monster games that are easy to play, that enable you to focus on, your decision making without having to worry about whether or not you're doing something wrong. I say that having made some really clumsy mistakes, my own fault. Didn't read some things carefully enough. There's only 16, 17 pages of rules. There are just a few things that I misinterpreted. And thank you everyone for commenting. So, yeah, I'll talk more about those in the review, but I finished this campaign very, very satisfied with this game. It's remarkable, and I'd say it's a must-have. So an Axis unfair victory because of those rules errors, but a good experience nonetheless. Thanks everyone for watching, and take care.